Kia ora everyone, welcome or welcome back to the channel. Today I have for you the final completed pages of 2024. This is everything that I coloured in the month of December 2024. And this is the last time you will see this colouring journal on the desk as we swap out to the new one, because we are just about through this book. There's a couple of pages left. It's time for a new journal. But before we can move on to January 2025, we need to talk about December 2024's colouring. So I did end up having quite a good month in December. I ended up completing 34 pages, 5 of which were buddy colours and 4 of those pages were doubles. So that was a pretty reasonable month, and I'm really pleased with what I did produce, and I'm really excited to show you what I've got to show you today. So we're going to put this to the side, and I'm going to start with the Christmassy holiday type pages, and then we'll do the non-Christmas colouring afterwards, because I did do a lot of Christmas and holiday, but I also did quite a few non-holiday related colouring. So I'll start off with some colouring heaven. So the first one I have here is Santa's Workshop. This has got designs by JR. This was just a simple little colouring that I did one night. I just needed some brainless colouring. So I just pulled out my water-based markers and just went to town. Now, fortunately, the face is a little streaky and the paper was getting a bit rough there, so I didn't want to do another layer, but the rest of it I'm really pleased with. And it's literally just water-based markers and then a little bit of a metallic gel pen just to do like the little details of the gold star there, and then on these silver details. So really straightforward, but really fun. Oh, and then I did use actually a Deco Art paint pen in the background here. That blue is also shimmery. Forgot about that. So yeah, this is Elf Life. An artist at heart, she uses her creative skills to add the special finishing touches to all the presents in Santa's workshop. Yeah, I just thought it was really cute. And this one had been an untouched book, so it was awesome to get a page done in here. The second colouring heaven I have is the Christmas special. This one is a assortment of different artists, and I did this Hannah Lynn page. This was actually one of the last pages that I did of the month. I just needed, again, a simple night of colouring. Saw this page and was like, you know what, that'll do. Enough detail to keep me entertained, and I just worked primarily in alcohol markers. I did pull out a pink polychromos just to do a little bit of blush on the cheeks. And then I did pull out some metallic gel pens to do like the little dots and the little dots on there. And then I did pull out some Mod Podge Extreme glitter just to put on the like icing on the house. Might be able to pick up a little bit of it. It's pretty subtle, but yeah. So yeah, it was pretty fun. It was a good little, it was good for what I needed at the night. Just some simple brainless colouring. I have been working my way through my alcohol markers and testing a lot of the colours of my alcohol markers and trying to pull out all the dry ones, because I have 2 massive tubs of alcohol markers, and I've managed to make it about halfway through with all the colouring I've done with these markers this month. So working out. So some of the colours, like, I wouldn't normally do all these browns for the background, but I had a bunch of browns to test and it actually works out. So I don't mind that kind of neutral background. So that is the Colouring Heaven Christmas special. And then speaking of alcohol marker testing, I have the Winter Gnome special. So again, this is another collaborative artist one, and I did 4 pages by Mariola Budek. I should really work back to front because that's how I actually coloured them, but that's okay. So we have this Gnomes in Love page. So again, I was just testing alcohol markers as well to see what colours I had. So some of the colours are a bit random. I actually did this on a live stream because I was having one of those days where I just didn't want to think. So we coloured all 4 of these in one live stream. So they were really quick as well. And it was just me randomly diving into the bin, pulling out a colour and using that colour. So yeah, some of the colours are a bit odd, but it works. So yeah, it's all alcohol marker, a little bit of Posca. I used some metallic and glitter gel pens to add some details. I drew in all these hearts with alcohol marker, and then I pulled out this glitter gel paint that I have, and it tinted this background this pink colour and added in all these glittery bits all over the background, and I thought that was a really cute way to tie it all together. And I actually really like how it turned out for being so random in the colour choice. Green beard. Don't know why we went green. And then, not that one, not that one. This is one. And we did the gnome with the candle. So again, it is all alcohol marker. I did use a little bit of polychromos actually as well to deepen shadows and shading in certain areas. These did have a slight bit of shading already, but then I used the polychromos to deepen it in certain areas. And then again, Posca and a little bit of shimmer just on the details of the hat, but really straightforward. And this one I started colouring the cane and I realised that my protection sheet was actually back here and not here. So we did slightly stain through. It's not too bad, but I was a little like, oh man, because I'd already coloured this one. I really like this one, so that's why you always check that your protection sheet's in the right place. Alright, we then have gnome sledding. So once again, alcohol markers, Posca to do all the highlights, polychromos to deepen the shadings. It's literally just a polychromos black that I used. Glitter gel pens to do all the like stitches on the hat and like this bit here. And then I did pull out Mod Podge Extreme glitter and add that all over the snow. So the snow does have sparkles. Yeah, I really like the sky. Like for pulling random colours, this actually worked out quite lovely. Probably the gloves are not the right colour. They're too dark, but it still works. Then the final one I did in here was the caroling gnomes. And once again, alcohol markers and then a black polychromos to do some shading, Posca pens to do all the highlights, then a bunch of metallics and glitter gel pens just to add little details and touches. But yeah, that was a really fun stream and a really fun way to spend the day. And we got 4 pages done, which was amazing. I have Kanoko Agusa, Kingdom of Curious Creatures. I finally got this whip done. This has been a whip for a very long time. And oh my gosh, to have it done is so fantastic. So I had started shading part of the background, this character, and like this fireplace was all done and the Christmas tree was done. And then I had begun working on the background. So I started this as a midwinter Christmas in July 2023. And then I just ran out of time, so it became a whip. And then in December 2023, I went back to this book to finish off this page. Now, I hadn't written down the colours that I'd started in the background, which originally had this wallpaper design. But I knew it was polychromos, so I pulled out some polychromos blues and I started shading. And I not only pulled out the wrong colours, but how I was shading it was different than how I originally had done it. So it looked really, really bad. It's like, oh, okay. You know what? I'll just pull out some paint and block it out. And so I pulled out some gouache, and I was doing this on stream, and I started applying the gouache, and it was one of the hottest days in December of that year so far. And so the gouache was going down sticky and tacky. It was just too hot, too muggy, and I was getting frustrated. And even the stream could tell I was getting frustrated. And everyone said, put the book aside. You're clearly not in the right space to work on this one. And so I did. And so it sat aside until December 2024. And so with the background having this terrible gouache background, I was like, I have to cover up this background. And so I used washi tape. And so, yeah, this is one roll of washi, and I just thought the pattern actually kind of made a cool wallpaper effect, and now it's got this shiny metallic. It is slightly transparent, so the pink has gone more like a grey or like a purple over top of the navy blue gouache that was down. But I actually quite like it. I think it works really well for the page. And then because I had started shading the page in just polychromos, no base layers, no nothing, I carried on with that style shading for the rest of the page to carry on colouring all the characters and the presents and the ground and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was a bit of a process. I still technically have the border to colour in, but that's just a quick paint pen at some point, and I was happy to call this done and just consider it done entirely, because it's been sitting and waiting for so long, and it's done. And I'm very, very pleased to have it done and finally be able to remove this post-it from this book. So that's Kingdom of Curious Creatures by Kanoko Agusa. I have a page in Herb Leonard's Holiday Magic. And this one was actually a buddy. So it was a few of us that got together for this. Julianne in the art and Mindy from Colouring with Cats Among Orchids. And we worked on the Mischievous Owls page, which I love. So I have the PDF version, hence why mine's on a separate piece of paper. So I will show mine off here. So I used water-based markers, so like your Crayola Super Tips and various other, I've got some Tombos in there, I've got some Staedtler dual-ended markers. Like, it's just an assortment of water-based markers. And then I did use a gold and a silver metallic gel pen to do all the, like, the light rays, and this frame is all done in silver. And a little bit of metallic blue on the fairy wings as well. But I really liked how it came together. I knew I wanted to do lots of rainbow colour for all the paint splatter. And so a lot of the paint splatter has another colour working its way in, like this purple and blue emerging together, like orange and red, like lots of areas where paint was mixing in with other paint. So that was kind of fun to sort of play with and infiltrate colours together. And yeah, I really like how this one came together. And I will show you Mindy and Julianne's beautiful pages here. I really, really love how everyone's page turned out. It was a lot of fun. It looks like a really detailed page, but it's just a lot of fun. I really recommend it. So thank you so much for both buddying with me on this page and working together to get this book worked in, because this was previously untouched. So it's nice to have a page done in that one. I was gifted quite a few books in the month of December. I had some lovely happy mail that came in, and this is one of them. So this is R.J. Hampson's Serendipity. It is gorgeous. need to put some tape down here so the covering that I put on the front actually sticks down properly. But yes, I did cover the books because they are those soft touch covers, which I hate. So it's been completely covered and now I can touch it with no issues. This was a gift from the beautiful Winter 89 Colours, and I cannot thank you enough. I had to jump into colouring the books immediately, and so I coloured this one. And so this is called Suddenly. This is the dark version as well. And I decided on this one because there is actually a little Santa and there's some bunting and some Christmas lights and a little Christmas leaves, wreath. So it's like, this is actually a festive page and it just looked really, really cute. So I jumped straight into this one. I just used Polychromos pencils. I did not base. I worked directly on the page with Polychromos pencils. I added in a little bit of metallic gold for like the bunting and around the sign and on Santa. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward and I really enjoyed it. I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed just straight Polychromos pencils on the page. I wouldn't always do that because it's a bit hard on my hands, but I did enjoy it in this case. So yeah. Now this one was actually a buddy with Juliet Colours, and I will insert their glorious page here. I know they used alcohol markers and they weren't sure if they're going to make it, but they made it in the end, and I really love how it came together as well. So, so good. And thank you once again, Juliet Colours, for buddying with me on this page and joining me for my first page in Serendipity. My Colourful Town by Chiaki Ida. Now this one isn't technically a Christmas page, but I turned it into a Christmas page. And that is the market page. And so when I first saw this page with the food caravans at the market, I knew I wanted to convert it into a Christmas market because as someone who used to do markets and still helps their mum out with markets, Christmas markets are a big thing. And in summer, there are so many Christmas markets because, of course, in the Southern Hemisphere here, Christmas is in summer. So there's lots and lots of Christmas summer markets. And so I thought this would be a really fun page to convert into a bit of a Christmassy scene. And so in order to do that, I got a sheet of really quite small Christmas stickers. It came with a bunch of Christmas trees and wreaths and these stars and these little reindeer and Santa. Now, when I got them, they actually had, like, you can see it on the star. I left it on the star because it's like that could actually still work on the star. But they had that white border around them. So I had to use a tiny pair of nail scissors to trim around everything to remove that obvious sticker border. But that was what I stuck in to add all the Christmas decorations. I also had some washi tape, so I cut out the presents from the washi tape to add to a few areas. So these presents down here and on the table here. The coffee mugs, I used another washi tape to fill in the coffee mugs, so it's like they have some seasonal Christmassy cups. And then of course the big one is all the lanterns in the tree. So originally this little leaf that was wrapped around it, I was going to turn that into Christmas lanterns. But then while I was looking for the little Christmas stickers, I found these, which is actually stick-on lantern type stickers, I guess. I don't know. Now it had like these foam dots for every second little lantern thingy mabob. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cute, but it's going to be even more textured and puffy in this book. So it was easy enough to remove them, and then I just used double-sided tape and stuck each of these on. So this is definitely like a bit bulky. I have been careful not to leave this like in the bottom of the pile. There's a couple of little areas where this is indenting in, and oh my gosh, I have no idea how I'm going to colour this one. We might have to put like quite a few protection layers in here. But I just loved the look too much to not include these stickers. I just thought they were so cool that I had to include them in. So yeah, I grabbed an extra set. I don't know what I'm doing with them yet, but I had to. And then to actually colour the main part of the image is Inktense pencils and Prismacolor. And then there is some metallic gel pen. There's a couple of areas, like I'm just rubbing some off here, where the gel pen did smudge, particularly over here on the green. I managed to smudge my hand right across here, so there's a little bit of gold smudginess, but it's okay. It's not too bad. I've had worse smudgy. But yeah, I really love how this one came together. I love how bright and colourful and like that warm sunset, and yeah, it just gives me very much Christmas market vibes, which is exactly what I was going for. And it was a page done in an untouched book. So that is Chiaki Ida, My Colourful Town. I have Fuzzy Hygge, or Fuzzy Hug as I call it, by VV Tinta. And I actually did 4 in here. It's a really cute book and I really, really like it. So we'll start at the back here with this roasting marshmallows campfire type page. I actually did this one on Christmas Day itself. This was just something I was doing in between preparing lunch and other things I was doing on the day, and it was just my little fun thing to do for the day. So this is entirely coloured with water-based markers, and then I added a little bit of Mod Podge Extreme Glitter for the stars. There's a little bit of metallic gel pen for the silver, but the rest of it is all water-based markers, and I really like the little campfire glow that I managed to get around as well. Really simple, but really fun, which is how I found this book. We have the donation page, and this was a page that I wanted to get done the most. So this one is all alcohol markers. Again, I was doing more of my alcohol marker testing. I love the sky. There are so many layers in that sky though. Like you can see it starting to sneak in a few areas because there are just so many layers. But I do love that blend. I think that's really, really pretty. And then I did pull out a Posca to do a little bit of highlighting, but I kept it pretty straightforward, to be honest. There's not much shading. It's pretty flat, but I'm still really happy with it. It was mostly about that sky. Let's be honest. It was mostly about the sky. Alright, the next one is a buddy colour with Colouring Bumblebee. And I'm just going to insert Jess's page here first because I want you to see how this page should look, how beautiful it can look from Jess's work, because Jess did a glorious job with their version. And now I'm going to insert my version, which I still love. Don't get me wrong, I still love this page, and let's face it, it's entirely glitter, so how can I not love it? But definitely Jess's is more effective. And what I was going for initially, I started off by doing an alcohol marker base, and then I had a bad hand day, and I had bleed over everywhere. I had some splotchiness. I had areas where I'd accidentally dropped a marker into the middle of another marker. Like, it was a mess. And so I was starting to use paint pen to help go over the lines to kind of cover up some of that bleed and thicken up lines. And then the colors went right, and it just was not working. It was looking awful. And so one of my rules has always been, if in doubt, glitter it out. And so I went, you know what? We're glittering it. So I started by adding a layer of Mod Podge Extreme Glitter over the whole thing, And then I pulled out my stickles and my glitter gels and I just started pulling colors and went, yep, you'll go here. Yep, you'll go here. Yep, you'll go here. And I just colored the whole thing in glitter. So yes, every single surface has glitter on it. Is it how I imagined it when I started it? No. Was it fun? Yes. And I will probably do this again. In fact, I had another page picked out as a potential to do for another one, but leave the black lines so that it's more legible for the details. But yeah, I still like it. It's not what I envisioned, but it's cute and it's fun. And hey, it's a whole page of glitter. And then the final page that I have in here is actually the Advent calendar. Now, this is a bit of a different Advent calendar. I didn't come in here and colour every day in here like a countdown to Christmas. Instead, what I did was, as I coloured every day, because yes, I colour every day, I made a list of my most notable material of the day. So that was if I used a lot of one media, if I tried something a bit different, or just something about the day of, okay, this was the media of the day. And then I had a list of 24 pages. And then I came in here and I coloured each square of that media. So this is a snapshot of my colouring of the month. So like day 9, you can see this is a washi. This is the day I did the background in Kingdom of Curious Creatures. Day 3 is all glitter. That's the day where I did the glitter page in here. Day 21 we have coming up when I tried oil pastels and I put some Mod Podge Extreme glitter on top to save it. We've got entirely metallic gel pens or paint pens, days of alcohol markers. There's a run of like 4 or 5 days where I'm working with polychromos pencils, and I know that's when I was doing a certain page. So I can look at this and go, oh yeah, I was doing that this day, I was doing this day. And so I really like how it came together. Day 18, we've got stickers in Prismacolor, so I know that's when I was doing the My Colourful Town page. And then for day 24, day 25, sorry, I just mixed a bunch of different medias. So I've got extreme glitter, alcohol markers, the stickers, glitter gel pens, metallic gel pens, and yeah, it's just kind of like a combination of everything. Now, because I was using so many different media on this, I wanted to keep the color palette really, really minimal. So it was basically red, green, and gold was the thing, which is why it is quite limited. But I think it makes it quite cohesive. There are some areas like this red is too pinky compared to all the other reds, but that's okay because that's obviously the reds I pulled out for the polys. Like polys are always a bit lighter. Day 8 is paint pen and Posca. So these colors are not used anywhere else. Day 6 is Pablo's, and that's a bit different to the day 15 polys, like there's different tones across them, but it is still pretty much red, yellow, and green. And yeah, I like how it came together, and I think I might try and do this again next year. Like, if you want a different way to approach an advent calendar, this is a really fun thing to do, especially if you do color every day. Even if you don't color every day, you could just leave it blank. You don't have to have it all colored, and just leave it as a snapshot of your coloring for the month. That is everything I did in Fuzzy Hug by VV Tinder. I have The Magical Christmas by Lizzie Mary Cullen. Now, I wanted to do so many in this book. I had plans to do so many, but I started with this page, this big double page spread, which is a Kiwi Christmas, and I love how it turned out. So this is primarily Inktense. There is a little bit of Posca for like all the Pohutukawa flowers on the tree here, and then Mod Podge Extreme glitter on all the fishies and little touches like that. And then I did pull out a black brush pen just to fill in this background as well, this black border. I love how it came together, but I was recording this because I was going to put it up as a YouTube video. So in terms of recording a video, there's only certain times I can record colouring. So I can only record every second Wednesday and some Thursdays, and then maybe a Saturday. So there's very little days where I can record, and I can only record in the morning. So this page was taking a while, and it meant that because I couldn't sit down and record, I couldn't work on it. So I would work on other things, but because of how long it was taking, I was like, oh, okay, I don't think we're going to be able to get to other pages in the book, because I just couldn't sit down to record to finish a spread. And then it got to, I think, the 25th of December, and I realized, because of all the things coming up, I legit did not have a single day that I could record until the new year. And I was like, oh, we're not going to be able to finish it if I try to keep recording it for YouTube. So that's when I made the decision to just scrap the recording and just get the page done, which I'm glad I did, because I got at least this big double page spread done. But if I had realized just how long this would take to record and how it would slow me down, I never would have recorded this to begin with, because then I could have worked on it at night. I could have worked at it, any time where I couldn't record and things like that. So it would have meant I could have got into other pages in this book, which was the original plan. I wanted to get both this Kiwi Christmas page done. There's a North Pole page in here. Like that one. That was one of the pages I wanted to get done. There were quite a few pages in here, and I just did not get to it. I'm still very glad I got to this one. This one was my most, I must get this page done. So I'm glad I did. But yeah, I'm a little but it does make me need, think about what I am going to record, because when I sat down and realized, I have such limited available recording time, it's made me consider what I can and can't record a little bit more. So that's been good. I have learned a lot from this page, mostly think about your schedule. Because there's just a lot on. So I have a lot of colouring time, but there's not a lot of recording time, and that's the thing there. I have a very limited time I can record. I have lots of time I can colour, though. I can't record at night because my light setup is not appropriate for filming at night. Tuesday, Fridays and Sundays I stream, so I can't also record a video then. I mean, I'm putting out content, I'm putting out live stream, but I'm not sitting down and filming a structured recording video. Monday I have errands, and then Thursday is available to record, but it's often also an errand day, an appointment day, which leaves every second Wednesday, because one week I have a D&D game that I run, and then on the off week I can record that week. And Saturday, which is in between running my mum to markets. So there's a small chunk on Saturday I can record, and every second Wednesday. It's okay. There's not a lot of recording time. So yeah, anyway, that's my tangent. This is a page. I love how it turned out. I don't know why I'm rambling all about all this. This is me. This is how I work in these videos. I ramble. Love how the page turned out. I did very specific colors in here. I knew I wanted to have greeny blue for the ocean, and I knew I wanted this background to be red and black, because red, black and white is a very common combo in Te Reo. Te Reo is a language. In Māori artwork, red, black and white and koro designs is a very commonplace one. And so I knew I wanted to have that red and black, and I thought it would be a really good contrast, especially when I did the purple mountains. I did all the florals red because of Pohutukawa, but then I did leave these ones yellow in case it was a kōwhai. I don't think these flowers are really based on any design, and I probably should have just changed up their colour, but I was like, we'll just make them red. This streaky, leafy, liney one looks more like Pohutukawa, which is what this tree is inspired by. That's why I did all the red dots on it, because it's New Zealand's Christmas tree. And then, of course, all the fishies, which I just chose a colour and just coloured it in. I was kind of getting over it at this point, I'll admit. So it's just choose a colour, colour it in, and then lots of glitter on top, because glitter's fun. And so, yeah, all the fishies have a little glitter. And yeah, I do like how it came together. It looks really bright and summery and happy and Christmassy. So that is The Magical Christmas by Lizzie Mary Cullen. Right, so this one's not technically a Christmas page, but I was calling it my Christmas ogre or Cyclops. Cyclops. So I felt like I should probably include it in the Christmas section because it just worked out to be Christmas colours. It wasn't intentionally Christmassy. It was just red, green, and gold is a good combo. Let's do it. So yeah, but I really like how my Cyclops came together. This is in, I didn't even say, Kirby Roseanne's Mythic Animals. Now, this original is actually in Mythomorphia, and I have coloured it in Mythomorphia, and I didn't like how it turned out in Mythomorphia. It was a rush job around when I was getting very burnt out, and I just smashed through it to finish it. This one I started in November, and I did say November completed pages that I could have pushed myself to finish it, but that was the mistake I had made last time. So I didn't want to push myself, and I wanted to take my time to properly finish it. And during the month of December, I decided, you know what? I want to finish it. Even though it's not 100% Christmassy, it's got those Christmassy colours. It's my Christmas Cyclops, and I really like how it came together. It's so much better than the last one. So much better. So I used Inktense to base everything. In fact, there's my little colour chart because I was using that too in case I needed to come back. So everything is Inktense. And then I think I used a mixture of Pablo's and Polychromos. I know he's shaded with Polychromos. And I feel like I used some Pablo's and maybe even some Prisma on the chains. A little bit of Posca for highlighting on the horn and the eye and the gem. And then the glitter gel pen for this little gem up here. So there is a little touch of glitter. Just a little one. Just a little one. But yeah, Christmas Cyclops, a lot of fun. A little bit of a drink. Alright, and then the final two Christmassy pages, still got to carry on, that we have are definitely my favourites of the month. There's one in the non-Christmas section that's also one of my favourites. And if you've seen my 2024 wrap-up, you would have seen a sneak peek of this one. So this is Story of Precious Cats by Naoko Neko. And this one ended up on my favourites for 2024. And it is Rainbow Candyland Village. Not only was it amazing to finally get this whip done because it has been in progress for a long time, but I just love the result. I love how ridiculously rainbow and bright and colourful and the glittery sky and how delicious everything looks, and I am just very, very pleased with it. I love how little characters turned out, and it still looks like the original plan of the characters that I created way back at the start. I just think it's going to be so good when we get more of this book done and we get to see these characters all the way through. But yeah, so this has been based with Inktense and then shaded with a mixture of Polychromos, Pablo's. I think there's even some Prismacolor in there. There's definitely a lot of Posca. There is Mod Podge Extreme Glitter for the background. And I don't think I actually used any gel pens. It was just all about the glitter and then the Poscas. But yeah, so many little details on this page. But I'm so happy with how it's turned out. It went on my favourites for a reason. I absolutely love how this page turned out. I love this whole book. In fact, in January, I have a plan to work on this gorgeous Pirates page, and I'm super excited because, yeah, there's probably going to be a bit of Naoko Neko in 2024, to be perfectly honest, because it's so cute. So yes, this is Naoko Neko's Story of Precious Cats. And then the last Christmas page, and I haven't quite trimmed the protection sheet here, so please ignore that. But the last page, which was finished on the last day of the month, is Romantic Country, the Second Tale. Now I had plans to hopefully do 2 pages in here. I was hoping to also get to the New Year's page at the back here. This one here. Did not get here, unfortunately, which I was a bit sad about, but that's okay. We can work on it next New Year's. I mean, it's only the 2nd of Jan. I could pull it off now if I really wanted to. But we spent so long working on the Christmas double page spread. And I love how it turned out. This is definitely one of my favorites of the month. So this one was done on live stream, so you can actually watch me color it live. If you go to my YouTube live tab, there is a VOD of all the lives, and you can watch the whole thing there. We used Inktense to base the whole thing, and then I used Prismacolor to shade, and then I embellished by using Liquitex gold acrylic ink for all the gold. I used Mod Podge Extreme glitter for all the baubles. The snow down here is done in Liquitex Heavy Body White paint with some, I still have all the products around here, the DecoArt Enchanted Shimmer on top, so the snow has like this beautiful pearlized texture. And then on all the windows we have glossy accents, and this is what just about killed me at the end. It was so fiddly, but I do love how it turned out with the windows. So hopefully you're seeing that sort of glossy texture and how the windows look like windows, which just makes me so happy. It's such a small touch, but it makes me so happy. And the reason why I did so much embellishment, including these windows, is because a lot of this is very similar in texture. Because I worked with such a limited color palette, I knew one of the keys of this would be to create texture. So like the snow, when I painted in the snow with the paint, I left that sort of brush texture, and then I amplified it with the shimmer so that the snow has texture. The gold, adding that shimmer, adds another texture. The glitter adds another texture. Otherwise, this whole thing would look quite flat. Even though I've done shading, even though I've done dimension, it would still read as a little bit flat. So that's a big reason why I added in all these textures, especially this gloss, so that the windows had a really clear difference to the walls. And yeah, I love how it turned out. It's also really fun to do this because, as I said, it's textured. So yeah, I really loved how this came together. As much work as this was, and it took a while, I love it. Now, one of the things I did for this page was I actually took a photo of the page with my phone, and then I used Photoshop to plan out the page. So I actually had like a digital color plan for the page, and that really helped because I knew I wanted a specific palette, but a very limited palette as well. And so having that opportunity to plan out and see how everything would work together was really good, because these trees are basically what I wanted. The white tree with the pink, purple and blue, that was the color palette. And so when I planned everything out, I got stuck for ages because the bottom was so heavy and grey. There was just so much grey down here that it kind of weighed everything down. And then I was like trying all these different colours, trying all these colours in the windows as well, and trying to figure out how was I going to make this work. And then it was just sort of hit me, white worked really well down here. So I was like, let's make it snow. Like, not all the way up. We left a little bit of concrete, and you can still see the concrete on the stairs. Like, there's like a little bit of an eave or a veranda or something up here that's stopping the snow going all the way back. But yeah, there's a bit of snow in front. And when I did that, and it just sort of balanced out the page and added that white to the bottom, I was like, that's what it needed. Just that bit of white down the bottom to help lighten it up. So yeah, that's why I added in the snow. And yeah, I'm very happy with this one. A lot of work, but I love how it turned out. And again, still really enjoying the Airy book. I do kind of want to do another one. I haven't chosen one for the month of January, but I am tempted to do another one. And that's just in there. especially with all the glossy accents. We don't want that sticking together, and I will trim that up a little bit later. So that is Romantic Country, the Second Tale by Erie. My only Erie book, but I love it. And that is all the Christmas themed pages. Now let's get into the non-Christmas pages. Okay, I'll start with you because that's what I grabbed first. Oh, so many piles on the ground. So the first one I have is Colouring Heaven Fledgling Fairies. This has got designs by Christine Karen. And I ended up doing this Fox Rider page, which is a bit of a wintry type page. We're of course in the middle of summer here, so not necessarily appropriate. But the reason why I did this was I actually got a set of oil pastels, and I was just playing around and seeing how it worked and how I could smush colors together and using like an earbud to push color around and just sort of playing with it. And then after I had done all the oil pastel, I pulled out some red gel pen and a blue metallic gel pen to do the border and some little details on the fox's outfit. And then because everything looked like snowy and, you know, like it was a winter scene, I actually flicked some Liquitex white acrylic ink just over the page to give like a snow effect to the page. And then because it was oil pastels, it's like I should probably seal this in. I was like, you know what? Glitter. Let's make it look really snowy and glittery. So I just used Mod Podge Extreme Glitter. I probably didn't need to do that with the white splatter. I could have just dropped in regular Mod Podge or something, but it was fun. It was a lot of experimentation. I just really wanted to play with the oil pastels and just see what I could do with them. They were a very cheap set. I wasn't investing in a very good quality set. I think it cost me like $5 for the set, and it was just me testing and playing and just seeing how they went. And yeah, it was kind of fun. It was very messy. It was very sticky, so sensory me didn't quite enjoy it too much, but it was fun to play with, and I could see a use for them in certain situations. So yeah, I like that one. That is Fledgling Fairies Special by Christine Karen. So another beautiful gift that I got this month was a frog's tail. This is the other one that I got from the beautiful Winter 89 colours. And this is one that I had actually put up as a potential to get for my birthday. And Winter went ahead and just got me them anyway. So yeah, thank you so much, Winter. And this one was a bit of a disaster. But I kind of saved it. But it's still a bit disastery. Yeah, so this paper does not like watercolor. Lesson learned. So you can see just how wrinkled and buckled, and it fell out of the book. Like, it completely fell out of the book. You can see here just how wrinkled this page got with the watercolor. So yeah, lesson learned, book does not like watercolor. But I really wanted to play around with doing like a graduating watercolor background. And yeah, I tried it, and then I was like, oh god, it's ruined. And it's like, you know what? Let's just roll with it. So after the watercolor had dried, I pulled out my Pablo colored pencils and some Posca, which I used to outline the clouds, and then colored in the rest with some Pablos. It's really straightforward coloring. Also, all this glitter that you're seeing on the page is because there wasn't accidentally a little bit of glitter on the brush when I did the watercolor. So it's like, cool, we'll just keep the glitter in as well. I don't mind the glitter. But yeah, it was done. I was like, it looks cute, but it's obviously ripped. It's obviously damaged, right? But then I was thinking about like when I was an artist and how, you know, I'd go around and travel and draw, and you would have all these things, And sometimes pages would get loosed and damaged, or you would find something and you just stick it in your journal because it was so inspiring. And that's kind of what I imagine, because this Frog's Tale is a journey through Mr. Froggy and all the things he's up to. So it's like his journey of his travels. And I'm like, well, maybe this page just happened to be a loose page in the travel journal and it got out and it got stuck back in because he didn't want to lose it. But you know, it got a bit damaged along the way. So, yeah, I don't mind it. Obviously, it's not ideal. I learnt not to saturate a page with watercolor when it's this Amazon paper. I still like how it turned out. I can see where I was going, and if I really need to, because this is difference, duplicates with a difference, back here somewhere, there is another copy. So we can go again. It's like, this is the original sketch that he ripped out and then he stuck back in, and here's the final painting. It's quite alright, you know? So yeah. But I do want to do another one in here to actually do a proper page in here that doesn't fall apart and have to be stuck in with washi tape and go disastrous. But I'm just glad we got the page done. So that is R.J. Hampson's A Frog's Tale. Mythomorphia. God, I love Mythomorphia. We're definitely getting some progress in this book. And what I have is the Yeti page. So this is once again a buddy colour with the wonderful Cindy of Mindful Growth. I will insert their version here. I love how we ended up picking essentially the same palette, but producing completely different vibes. It's just, that's kind of the fun of buddying, is sometimes things just work out in funny ways like that. So yeah, we chose a very similar palette, but completely different vibes of the page. And I love how bright and dark Cindy's is. Really, really cute. So thank you again, Cindy, for buddying with me and helping me get more through this book. So for my vision, I really wanted to create it so it was like as if you were looking through a heavy blizzard and it's like, am I seeing that creature in the distance or am I not? So I kind of wanted to play around with a little bit faded into the background, but still visible. And so I used a mixture of watercolor and iridescent paint to create a purple to blue gradient background. And then I used a little bit of watercolor and shimmer paint and a little bit of pencil and a lot of Posca to go over these clouds. So the clouds are there, and depending on your angle, they're more visible or not visible. And that's all the shimmery paint. And then I use Prismacolor to color in all the details here. And then again, a lot of Posca to, as the trails were coming off this creature, the Yeti, to have it turn into the snow. So lots and lots of Posca there. And then I pulled out the Liquitex white acrylic paint to add even more splatter. So it had some splatters on the page that I went over with white Posca to get rid of the black outline. But then I splattered on a lot more so that it would be an even heavier style blizzard. And then the whole thing has been covered in Mod Podge Extreme glitter, because I was like, what reads as snow? Glitter. So yeah, shimmery and sparkly and pretty, but also scary creature. And I actually really like it. It was a lot of fun. It's not my favourite of the month, and it's not my favourite in Mythomorphia. But I do like how it came together. And once again, that was another one done in Mythomorphia. We are getting very, very close to this book being done. I think there are 13 or 14 images left. I have to count it up, but it is getting close. Alright. Ooh. I have more Colouring Heaven. And these ones are just in little cases. So the first one I have, these are digital copies that I have got. This is the Colouring Heaven collection Paper Dolls, which has got designs by Rachel Cohen. Now, I actually brought this as a nibbling Christmas gift. So for one of my nibblings, which is my nieces and nephews, you can see that they've stickered it with one of the Christmas stickers here. So just take that off. In fact, I'll put it on here. So yeah, I get printed out 2 copies of this. One went to the nibbling for the Christmas gift with some other bits like stickers and some washi tape, a pair of scissors once I get approval from the parents, some tape, some bits and pieces. And then I printed out a copy for myself because I knew that I would need to explain to this nibbling and show that this nibbling, it was more than just a colouring in book, because they're very used to getting colouring in books by me, but I didn't know if they'd ever coloured in paper dolls before. And so I started off by colouring the Lolita page. So I just grabbed out my water-based markers, and I used a few little stickers to embellish. So like, you know, you can see little gems on the doll and on the clothes. I think there was like 4 outfits on this one and some tights and lots of little bits and pieces. So yeah, just all water-based markers. I think there's also some purses somewhere around here, but goodness knows where. These are shoes. Yeah, so had a lot of fun just quickly colouring that in one night, cutting around it, which took forever. And then when the gift was given to the nibbling, I pulled out my copy and I was like, see? And then just, you know, sat there and played with the dolls. So of course nibbling was like, well, I want to make some dolls. And I was like, of course you can. So then the next day after Christmas, because we didn't get time on Christmas, nibbling came around and I set up a little crafting station on the table. And we sat down and we just made a bunch of dolls. So I coloured in 2 more pages up here. Every page has its own doll. So that was really fun to do. And then it was just like embellishing each of them. So for this one, can't remember the name of this one, Spring Gowns. So again, using stickers to help embellish. This one has some gel pens and I just coloured all of it with water-based markers. I think that one got a bit, and it's got very well loved, that dress. That was a very well loved dress. I don't think I've even used this one yet. Ooh, I feel like they need some clothes on them. Oh gosh, but yeah, it was so much fun. Like sitting there with my nibbling and just being like creating dolls and cutting out. Like the cutting out, it takes a while. It takes a while. I'll be the first to admit it, but it is really fun. And then we were taking the dolls and, you know, just playing around with them. And then because these clothes fit on like across all the dolls, once you have a page coloured in, you have 2 pages coloured in, you can swap their clothes. Like this Faye doll will fit the ball gown dress and the Lolita dresses from before. So yeah, and this one, as you can see, is one of the Faye pages. So I used washi tape to cover the wings, so the wings would be glittery. Put the little outfit on. I feel like the ones with the wings actually stick on a little, hold their shape a bit better. But yeah, this one came with a lot of little fiddly pieces to cut out. Oh, but yeah, these like just tons of accessories and shoes and all sorts of bits and pieces. Even like a necklace. I think it's from the Faye one, but you can use it across any. Again, so it's a lot of fun. And if you've got like a young child that's into fashion dolls or crafting and colouring, it's a really good activity to just keep them entertained. And it's quite entertaining as an adult too. And so this book, like this actual PDF colouring book, comes with 48 pages. So there is a lot in here. Every page has a doll, and the clothes fit across all dolls because it's the same shape. And there are your traditional fashions, but there are different cultures. These fae fashions. You know, I colored in a fae before. There's a mermaid. So like gothic cyberpunk. We just passed a ballerina. There's even like one where you have swords and armor and all sorts of stuff. Now they are all femme presenting dolls. There was no masculine dolls, which is the only thing I noted. Or androgynous dolls. Like the closest would be, there was a couple of where are the soldiers? Not the soldiers, but there was like a sword one. I may have difficulty finding it now. My book's all mixed up. Oh yeah, these are astronaut. But I think even like, yeah, this one here, the soldier. So you've got like swords and stuff like that, which I thought was cool, but it's still a femme presenting doll. So because again, this body shape is the same across all dolls, so all dolls can wear the same clothes. So that was the only thing I noted about it, but it was still a really fun activity for keeping the nibbling entertained, and I enjoyed it as well. So much so that I coloured in 3 pages. So yeah, I just put a little Ziploc bag in there to keep all the cut pieces together, and then the uncut pages are just in there like that. So I have 2 more Colouring Heaven magazines, and these will be transferred to a clear file when I actually get a clear file. As I brought the Paper Dolls Colouring Heaven issue, it was on a pre-Christmas special, and then because it was on special, it's like, oh, I'll have a look at the other digital downloads, and then I ended up buying 2 more digital colouring books, which is the Chibi Tarot Special by Jash Lee and Woodland Fantasy Special from Adele Lorraine. This is a very old issue, and this is one of their newest issues. So yeah, I love Jash Lee's work, and I knew I wanted this tarot colouring special pretty much as soon as I saw it being released. And so I did this Empress page. This one, I was having a really bad hand night, so I did the best that I could, but you can see it's like quite streaky around the face, and I've got some smudges, and I didn't really do a lot of shading in here. Again, I needed to colour for my mental health, but I was not having a great hand day. So it's not the best colouring job, but I was pretty pleased with what I did manage to achieve, especially in the hair, considering how bad my hands were that night. That was really, really bad. Which often, when my hands are bad, I do switch to water-based markers because they're a little easier. But yeah, I do love the colour palette that I chose, and I do like how I did a lot of it. It's just, yeah, some of it's like, that wasn't the best execution, but I know my hands, and I'm just pleased that I managed to achieve it. So that is the Empress from the Chibi Tarot Special by Jash Lee. And then for the Woodland Fantasy Special, somewhere in here, oh, did I pull it out? I didn't leave it at the back of this one, did I? Nope. This is why I should have pre-marked it. Get it from this side, maybe it'll pop up a bit easier. There it is. I think it was in here somewhere. We have this one here, and I loved just the androgynous look of this fae creature, and I just saw purple hair straight away. Now this one I actually did with straight polychromos pencils. I didn't base or anything, and the night I started it, my hands were great. I did the sword, like the middle of the sword. I started on all the feathers, and I was loving how it progressed, but then the day that I wanted to come back and keep on colouring on with it, my hands weren't really in the right space to be working in just Polychromos pencils. So like some of these areas aren't the greatest shading. And again, can do a better job, but this is why I tend to base everything in like a water or like an alcohol marker or something where it covers up the tooth of the page, so that when I come in and shade with pencils, I don't have to do so much layering to cover up that tooth of the page, because that is difficult. But you know, we did it. I do like how it turned out in the end, and again, this is a really fun one just to shade in bed. I really enjoyed it when I started working on all that metal. I like how that metal turned out a lot. I was really enjoying my feathers when I did those that first night, and then the second night when I came in to keep working on it, nah. But it's okay, it happens. So yeah, Polychromos pencils and a little bit of gold gel pen, just for some details there. But yeah, really, really like it, and as much as I can. I really like this issue though. This is a really gorgeous issue. It's been one that I've pulled in and out of my cart a few times when I've looked at digital colouring heaven issues. So yeah, there is 2 digital colouring heaven issues. As I said, I will put these into a proper clear file when I manage to get myself some more clear files. But now they're nice and secure in here, and that's the main thing. Alright, I have a page in Dark Fairies by Tabrif, and this one is actually a group buddy colour. So a bunch of us have been pulled together by Happy Catastrophe for a Dark Fairies group. Christina's Art Corner, Colouring by Mama, Happy Catastrophe, Colouring, I think that's meant to be Colouring Mum. I've got Colouring My, I think that's Colouring Mum. Juliet Colours, and Colouring Through It. Now, I cannot remember everyone that has completed the page, but I will insert a little slideshow of anyone who has completed the page in the group here. And it was a lot of fun to watch everyone's page come together. I know a few people are needing a little bit longer. So there's some people that are going to carry on with it in January. I, however, did manage to get mine completed, and we worked on the mirror page. So I went very traditional for this spread. I looked very much at the Snow White Evil Queen. I was just like, I just love the combo. It works so well, so I went with it. And yeah, I really love how it did come together. So I used water-based markers to colour everything in, and then I used some Polychromos pencils to shade on top. I did shade with the water-based markers, but I also shaded on top with Polychromos as well. I did that because there's a lot of really fiddly areas, so I knew using the water-based markers would actually be the easiest for basing rather than alcohol markers. And then I used a metallic black glitter pen over the wings to do the wings, which are glittery. And then the background is a DecoArt glitter paint pen. It's got more of a metallic glitter than the glitter gel pen, so a little bit of different texture, but I like how that came together. And yeah, really straightforward in terms of like the color palette, but I like how it came together. And this was another one where I took a photo of the page and then created a digital plan, because I knew this one is fiddly. Like, this book is fiddly, but once you break down the objects and start figuring it out, it becomes less overwhelming. Because if you look at this at first, it's like, oh, it's so much. But then it's like, well, hang on, there's a branch there. There's some leaves there. You can just colour in this background area, and once you knock out those 3, then you're just left with the creature, and then it's like, okay, there's wings there, there's a bit of a tail there, like you can start breaking it down. So that's one of the things that I recognised about the book, is just break it down first and figure out your shapes, figure out the throne, figure out the wings, things like that, and then it'll come together. So yeah. And now that I have finished colouring it and I'm looking at the overall page, I'm realising that these sections are not necessarily holes in the wings, because you would see part of the crown, the frond coming down. So I probably should have coloured inside the wings because that doesn't quite work. But hey, it's done. We're done. So it's done. Things you notice afterwards. So that's Dark Fairies by Tabra. And my first page in it. As I said, I received a lot of beautiful gifts this month, and one of them was afternoon tea from the delightful Amira. And I knew that there was a page I wanted to do very, very much in this gorgeous book, and it's this page here. It's debating on whether or not I'd do this in January or if I would do it in December, but then one night I just really wanted to colour it, so I sat down and did. I started it on a live stream I was a guest on, and yeah, I got most of the basing done and started doing some shading, and then I sat down the next night to finish it off. So I used alcohol markers to base, and then Pablo pencils to shade on top. There's a bunch of Posca paint pens to highlight edges and cover up black lines, and then there is a bunch of Mod Podge Extreme glitter on all the flowers just to add a little bit of a sparkly touch, because why not? And so for this one, I really wanted to color it like this. It's not quite inspired by, because I have a pattern on the dress, but I do have a blue dress that is quite similar to this. It just has a flowery pattern on it. It's like, blue dress, blue hair, mint bike, because I have a bike that's like this, and that's like my favorite type of cake is like a strawberry shortcake or a strawberry sponge cake with cream. And then I even have a tea set that kind of looks like this. So I was like, you know what? Let's just make it me having a picnic. Why not? Why not? So yeah, that's what I colored it as. I even have a plain hat like this. It doesn't have all the flowers on it, but I have a plain straw hat like that. So it's like, and I even have a blanket like this. Like, just lots of little things of like, yeah, I do actually have something like that. Yeah, I do actually have something like that. So yeah, a little bit of inspiration there. It was a lot of fun though. I really love colouring Teresa's work. It's just always so, so much fun. And again, I love how it turned out. Very, very happy with it. So that is Teresa Goodridge Afternoon Tea, produced by Creative Haven. I have the Goddess Colouring Book by Anna Yarden, and I coloured in Papatua Nuku. I had to start with this one, being of course a Māori inspired page, based on the Māori lore of Papatua Nuku. So yeah, I really wanted to colour this one first, and I really like how it turned out. So I did just use Inktense for this. Nothing else, just shaded with Inktense. I actually really like colouring Anna Yarden's work in just Inktense. I feel like it just works really, really well. Same with like Lizzie Mary Cullen. Something about her work, it just really works well in Inktense, I find. So yeah, the whole thing is done in Inktense. There's a little bit of Mod Podge Extreme glitter on both the sky and the sea. And one of the things that I wanted to do was, I knew that I wanted to do like purple and blues, so like the blue of the sky and then purple for the mountains, and make sure that blue carries on to the water, because there's quite a connection between the land, the sea, and the sky in Māori mythology. So I really wanted to have that unification. Yeah, so Papatua Nuku appears in union with the water, land, and sky. It's she emerges from the ocean, so her creation story is very linked. And again, there's many parts of the Māori lore and legends and creation story, and just the different tales and history of the Māori that connect land, sea, and sky. So it was really important to keep that connection all the way through. So it's actually the same Inktense blue from the land, from the sea, the sky to the sea, and then that same purple was in the sea and the sky, this land and the sky, sorry, words. But yeah, I basically wanted it all connecting up. And then for Papatūānuku herself, so I did a traditional, oh, I'm having a mind blank, but these are like a flax reed skirts, and then traditional red, black, and white for the top. Again, this is a traditional colorway that is often used in Māori mythology because it is a representation of life, death, and creation. So white is life, black is death, and red is blood. So it is often a combo that is used in representation of Māori lore. And then for the flowers, I did yellow because the pop of yellow would be really, really beautiful. And it doesn't actually identify if there's any flower specific type that Anna drew in here, but I chose to do kowhai flowers, which are a beautiful yellow flower. Now, this book is really, really gorgeous and does explore a lot of wonderful different cultures and different things in here about the different goddesses and different cultures, and I really like that aspect. I really do hope though that appropriate research was done and appropriate connection was done with the like Maui iwis, and I hope some actual research and appropriate connection was done, not just across Papatūānuku but also in the other cultures as well. So that's, I wish there was like a little note in here about, you know, what has been done to make sure, you know, things are being represented correctly and different things like that. So yeah, it's something that I've never really looked into, but it's something that I'm becoming more and more aware of. It's like, how are you researching this? Are you actually reaching out, or are you just Googling? So yeah, that is something I wish they would cover more in the books, and something that I'm just being a little bit more aware of. I am not a expert in Māori mythology. I'm not even 100% sure who my iwi is. I know I have Māori blood through my biological father's side, but I never knew my biological father, and I don't know my iwi or my tribe. So I'm still finding my connection with my Māori roots, and I was raised Pākehā or European, and I am not someone who is the most connected to my Māori. I'm trying, but it's a lot to learn, especially being older and the brain not retaining things. So I'm trying. But yeah, because of that, it just, as I've been researching these things, it's making me more and more aware. And so I hope not just for Papatūānuku, but for the other cultures that are represented in here, appropriate research was done and appropriate connection with the appropriate people as needed was done. And yeah, I wish more colouring books would talk about how they researched and how they connected and stuff like that. Anyway, that's another little bit of a ramble tangent. We all know me, I ramble. And then the last page to show, which again, if you watched my 2024 wrap up, you have seen this page. This made it onto my favourites. The final page is Thomas Kinkade Studios Disney Dream Collections colouring book. And that is the Tangled page. I was not expecting this page to go as well as it did, to be as enjoyable as it was, and for me to freaking love how it came together. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It was not easy colouring. It took a lot of thinking, a lot of like figuring out how to layer the colours, where to bring in different colours. I was looking at this image a lot, but I also knew I would never be able to 100% replicate this image. So there are certain areas where I kind of just made up my own design, or throw in extra colours, or added in extra light dots, or different bits and pieces. But I love how it came together in the end. So I used Inktense to base, and then Polychromos Prisma and Pablo pencils for shading, and a lot of Posca in there for all the different highlights. And yeah, I did this entire page on stream. So again, you can go to my live tab on my YouTube channel, and there is a whole bunch of videos surrounding this page. There's also a Disney Dreams Collection playlist, so you can go and just watch it across there. Oh, excuse me. Time for another coffee. But yeah, I love how it turned out in the end, and I was not expecting to love this book as much as I did, and I definitely want to get some more. I talked about how I would really love to get the really big poster pad where these scenes are extended even more and you see even more of the area around it, because I just enjoyed it so much. But I mean, I shouldn't really be surprised, because Thomas Kinkade Studios, like, the byline on Thomas Kinkade is painter of light. He loved to paint light, and his movement and use of light was always so stunning. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to doing another page in here pretty soon. Haven't decided what, but thoroughly enjoyed and definitely want to do another one in this gorgeous book. So it is Thomas Kinkade Studios Disney Dreams collection. And that was everything that I coloured in the month of December. So if you watched the 2024 wrap up, you would have seen me talk about some of these things in there, but I can give the actual final stats. I recorded it like 2 days before the end of the month, so there was a couple of things I was like, oh, I might get one more done or stuff like that. So as I said, I ended the month with 34 pages coloured, 4 of which were double, 5 were buddies. Now, I had 7 whips in total before at the start of the month, and I managed to complete 3 of them, having done Kingdom of Curious Creatures, Stories of Precious Cats, and completing that Mythic Animals Kirby's page, meaning I'm finishing the year with 4 work in progress pages, 1 from 2022, 2 from 2023, and 1 from 2024, which means out of everything that I've coloured this year, there's only 1 page I have not finished off, and I am pretty pleased with that. And then for books, I ended up getting 9 new books in December. I did unhaul 3 books as well, which brings my total of my collection to 248. I worked in 15 new books, including a bunch of the gifted books. There was just 1 book I didn't get to, which was a Christmas magazine from Amira. So my worked total for the year, I have now worked in 231 books of my collection, which is 93.1%. And there is exactly 17 books in my collection that is not being worked, which is 6.9%, which is freaking awesome. And if I go back to the start of the year, where we have our overall stats, you can see just how much smaller this WIP progress list is. Now, I was saying I started the year with 25 work in progress pages, but it's actually 19. So I must have gotten that locked in wrong, because I started the year with 222 books. So I think I took the 22 from there and just got a bit muddled up. But yeah, so I started the year with 19 work in progress pages, and now we're down to 4, which is fantastic. And I started the year with 222 books in my collection. I ended with 248. However, this has had a lot of changeover, and I feel like a lot more of my collection is actually what I like to colour now. So a lot of this was just, oh, I found a colouring book, bye. Oh, I found a colouring book, bye. So this is a lot more curated to what I like. And at the start of the year, I had worked in 79 of my books. I end the year with 231 coloured in. So that's a jump from 35.6% to 93.1% of my shelf worked, which is absolutely fantastic. All the socials have obviously increased. We're like 2 away on Instagram from 1,000. We ended on 998. So close to 1K. But still, I don't worry too much about the socials. It'll be what it'll be. It's just, for me, I was just like tracking those just to see the growth over the year. And the other thing that I was going to show was the Hit the Hoard. This was my bookshelf. The start of the year, I drew in this and I wrote down all my books that I owned. I coloured in blue anything I'd already worked in. And then over the year, anytime I coloured in a book and finished my first page in a book, I coloured it in pink. If I got rid of the book, I blocked it out in grey to show that it had been unhauled. So you can see I did do quite a bit of unhauling in my collection this year. Like, these are all posters that I removed from my actual official collection. I still have the posters. I just considered them not part of the colouring book collection. But yeah, just a couple of white books here and there. But a lot of pink. A lot of pink. And I feel like it was a pretty darn good year. I even set up an extra page just in case, and we never got to it. So yeah, thank you so much for an amazing 2024. I hope you've enjoyed watching all these coloured pages. Let me know down below what your favourites are, what you liked colouring, what are you excited to see coloured in 2025. I do have a plans video out of all my plans for January 2025, as well as my new year-long group buddy hashtag thingy-mabob. I am yawning. I need another coffee and I need a good stretch. So we're going to head out now and go do some self-care. Thank you so much for watching. All the araha to you all. Take care and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.